Hello, prairie dogs! And today we get to review our rules and expectations here at Pioneer Elementary School with you. And so this message is coming from myself. I'm Mr. Gong, your principal here. You can see the picture of me there. And if this is one of our review times we're watching this, of course, you already know me. And to our marvelous VPs, this message is coming from Miss Hidalgo and Miss Izziardia as well. And so today, we just wanted to take the time to share just a little bit more about our rules and expectations here at Pioneer Elementary School, which always begins, of course, with our peace path and our positive plan. Remember, as a prairie dog, every day when you come to school, we love to see you with your positive plan, which means that you're here present at school, you're always kind, you're working hard, and of course, that means you will be successful. And we like to also remind you that here we practice the peace path. And the peace path gives us options for those times that we might get upset because of something that might have been done or said to us. So remember that if something is done or said and we get upset, to make sure to take those 3 deep breaths, and that helps calm our body down so that then our brain can make a good decision. And that good decision can be to either talk it out, it can be to walk away, you can make a new friend, and there's always that chance to get help. Now remember, there's never a good reason to put your hands on another student. So let's make sure that we keep our hands to ourselves at all times. And that leads us to our first review and expectation. And we talked a little bit about this at our first announcements of the school year, which was that funny word, which is K-footy. And you can see it up there on the right. And K-footy is that reminder to keep your hands, feet, and other objects to yourself. And when we do that, that helps us all remain safe and so we can have an enjoyable time while we're learning here at school. And don't forget that this also includes any sort of play fighting. So make sure that we're not play fighting and we're K-footy, keeping our hands, feet, and other objects to ourselves. Now, just to talk a little bit more about recess. Now at recess, you will hear when the bell rings, there will be a whistle that blows. That's a reminder that we need to freeze. And we freeze because we don't want the bell to ring, everyone starts to run around, and then we start running into each other and hurting each other. So we need to make sure to freeze when that whistle blows. Then what we'll do is anyone with balls and equipment, you'll return it over to the bin. Now, once that whistle blows, let's not forget to take all of our backpacks, our jackets, our sweaters, our water bottles, our lunches with us as we walk. Say it with me, walk to class. And again, this is all for our safety, and of course, our safety. Now, when we do have to use the restrooms or we want to get a drink of water, those are the restrooms that we use that are in between the portables and the rest of the campus. And so let's not forget that this is not an area to be played on or around during recess. After you're done using the restroom, head out to the blacktop and playground areas. Remember, this is a quiet zone, and so we want to make sure that we're remaining quiet for all of our friends that are learning in those classrooms around there. So, for your safety, play on the blacktop and playground areas only. Thank you, friends, says Digger right there at the bottom right. This is one of Digger's friends. Now, to go over some more just about behaviors and expectations for the playground, let's make sure that we're taking care of the equipment out at recess and using it in the correct way. That way, we have all of our playground equipment to have fun with for the entire year. Now, we're going to go into a short video to remind us of some of the do's and don'ts of playground behavior.
Pioneer prairie dogs have positive playground behaviors. We always slide down the slide, feet first and one at a time.
Oh yeah, we should run around.
Pioneer prairie dogs always follow school rules and game rules. drinks. When the whistle blows 3 times, Pioneer Prairie Dogs walk safely to the line. Pioneer Prairie Dogs place balls in the ball cart. Pioneer Prairie Dogs always have positive playground behaviors.
We always slide down the slide.
We always follow all school rules and game rules.
Always freeze when the bell rings and walk when 3 whistles blow.
We always place balls in the ball cart.
Remember, always walk at Pioneer School.
Wow, those younger prairie dogs really knew what to do. And we thank our older prairie dogs in that video for showing us what not to do. So let's not forget that our older prairie dogs showed us what not to do, but those younger prairie dogs were great examples to us of what we need to make sure we're doing out at the playground. So let's make sure that we're following all of the playground behaviors and expectations. Now, if you are having a concern or having a hard time with a friend or any other student, please be sure to get help from one of our supervision staff members who you can find in the bright safety vests all around campus. And they will help you with the concern that you're having with your friend or any other student. Now, talking a little bit about the cafeteria. Let's make sure that we're following our behavior and expectations in the cafeteria. Now, it's very important that we're using our inside voice so that if there's announcements that need to be made, we can hear. It's always important to walk. The reason why we walk is sometimes we have spills. And if you're running through the cafeteria and you hit one of those spills, you could fall and get very hurt. So please make sure to walk always in the cafeteria. Then once you're in your seat, remain seated. You shouldn't be getting up and walking around the cafeteria. You need to remain in your seat, finish eating, and then throw away your trash and go out and play at recess. So let's make sure that we're following all of our cafeteria behaviors and expectations. And let's not forget that that's the only place we eat is in the cafeteria, or the only exception is if we are with your teacher. Now, why can we just not walk around campus and eat wherever we want and whenever we want? Well, first, it's a big safety concern. We had students last year while they were at lunch and we had adults around start to choke. Now, because there was adults around, the adults around that were supervising were able to recognize and step into action and make sure that those situations didn't get a lot worse. And so thank you to those staff members. But remember, that's why we do not eat around campus. We want to make sure that we're in a safe environment, and so we don't want choking hazards while we're trying to eat and play at the same time. Another big reason is for health and hygiene reasons. It is just not sanitary when you're playing with equipment and then licking those hot Cheeto and hot chip fingers. That's unsafe and it's very gross. And we want to make sure that our campus continues to look nice. And sometimes we're just not paying attention to where our trash goes. Sometimes when there's eating outside, not everyone picks up after themselves, and it leaves our campus looking like a garbage can. So let's not forget, we eat in the cafeteria or if we're with our teacher. Now let's talk a little bit about getting dropped off and picked up in the morning for your safety. Now, if you're being dropped off in the bus area or in the area of the back of the school, because we do have cars that drop there as well, let's make sure for our parents that you're going to be pulling up all the way up to the end of the lane, and that allows more cars into the area so that we don't have as many people trying to cross over this area. That's very not safe. Now, for our families, you won't exit your vehicle. We will have staff out there to let our students out. And when your students exit the vehicle, remind them to walk on the pause for their safety. Students, don't forget to make sure to walk on the pause on those arrows so we are as far away from the curb as possible. We want to make sure that we're safe and we're paying attention, so please make sure to stay on the pause and the arrows. Now, at the walkers gate, we do have two gates in the front. One is the walkers, and that's the one that's closest to the office. And then the cars are the drive-through gate, and that's the one that's further away. You'll see that there's some arrows and some pause there. So students, what you will do is when your families pick you up, you will walk on the right side of the sidewalk. That allows our other families that are waiting to pick up their students to come up on the right side. So, I'm sorry, I just said that backwards because it's both going to be your right. So the way that we're looking at the picture right now, your parents will be on the right and you will be leaving the campus on your left. I apologize for that confusion. Now, if it's the drive-up gate, again, we remind our parents that are picking up at the walkers, we really do appreciate if you could pick up your walking students over at the gate closest to the office. That way, we have our students that are coming out and they remain safe around the cars that are driving. Now, students, if you are being picked up by your parents in the drive-up gate, it is very, very important that you're listening for your name to be called. At this time, you're waiting with your teachers, and if it's not too hot, then you'll be sitting there waiting. And we need to make sure that we're not playing so that when our parents and our name is called, we're ready for when our parents drive up. Make sure you do not enter the green area until you have been called. Then once you're called, please make sure to report to the number you were called, and that helps us make sure that the traffic continues to flow and everyone remains safe. And if you're a TK or a kinder student, and for our families, please make sure the same thing. Follow the arrows to pick up your student in the one direction and then go to the other side of the sidewalk when you're leaving. Again, it just really helps all of our families be able to pick up their students in a timely manner, and we want to make sure that we're doing all of this with kindness and safety for all of our students and all of our families. Now, just a couple of reminders. Because fifth graders, you were fourth graders, you were fourth graders. So now, if you are a fifth grader, please notice the fifth grade walkway when you're walking to your class. You will walk in between the portables as shown in the picture. Now, for our fourth graders, you can see the tables. You'll walk down that way and around. Again, this is done for your safety so we don't have so many students trying to walk through the hallway at the same time, or the walkway. So, again, fifth grade, you'll walk in between the portables, and fourth grade, you're going to walk down by the tables and around the buildings. Thank you, our fourth and fifth graders, for always setting that positive example. And remember, fifth grade, with great power comes great responsibility. And we are so excited, and we love that you are excited to get to class each day. But remember, we need to make sure that we're walking, not running. And the reason why we need to walk and not run is because we have other students that are walking and they might not see you, and we don't want people getting hurt. So remember, students, we're walking, not running, so that we all remain safe. And finally, we know we have students that are excited to go visit their former teachers and they want to help, but during your lunchtime, those teachers are teaching other students. So remember, to all of our students, we appreciate all that you do, and we can find other ways for you to help around campus, but let's make sure that we're leaving our teachers in their classrooms alone so that they can make sure that they're teaching the students that are in their class now. Our staff and our students for your help. Thank you. And so it's important that we know the rules. And so thank you to all of our prairie dogs and our families that have watched this video. We look forward to an amazing year and everyone remaining safe while we follow our behavior expectations and rules around Pioneer Elementary School. We look forward to seeing you around campus.